Cleaning exhaustion is real, and nobody talks about it honestly enough. There comes a point when you have spent so many hours scrubbing and sorting and reorganizing that the home looks fine for about 2 days, and then you're right back where you started. The surfaces pile up again. The clutter returns. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you start to wonder if you're simply not disciplined enough, or not fast enough, or not doing it right. But I want to tell you something I wish someone had told me years ago. The problem isn't how much you're cleaning. The problem is when you're cleaning and why. When I stopped cleaning the way I used to clean, my house didn't get worse. It got better. And I finally understood what I'd been doing wrong all along. Tip 1. I stopped saving cleaning for the weekend and started doing tiny things throughout the week. For most of my life, I treated cleaning like a project. Something to schedule, something to gear up for. I would spend a whole Saturday morning going through the house room by room, and by the time I finished, I was tired, a little resentful, and already watching the mess begin to creep back. What I didn't realize was that those big sessions were a symptom, not a solution. The mess had been building all week, unchecked, until it demanded that entire Saturday. When I changed the approach, spending just a few minutes each day doing small things as they came up, the big sessions became almost unnecessary. A quick wipe here, a sweep there. A few things returned to their places before bed. The home never had a chance to get messy in the first place, so there was nothing overwhelming waiting for me at the end of the week. It turns out that 10 minutes spread across 7 days does more than an hour crammed into one. Tip 2, I stopped cleaning what didn't need cleaning and started protecting surfaces instead. I used to clean out of habit and routine, not observation. Every week, I cleaned things on the same schedule, whether they needed it or not. Shelves that hadn't been touched, surfaces that were already fine, and meanwhile, the spots that actually needed attention, the ones that would have taken 30 seconds if caught early, had been sitting long enough to become real work. What changed was learning to protect surfaces rather than rescue them. A small tray on the counter catches everyday items and keeps them from spreading. A cloth near the stove means spills get wiped while they're still fresh. A mat at the door means less tracking through the house. Prevention is so much less effort than cure, and it almost always does the job better. I stopped cleaning on a fixed schedule and started cleaning in response to what was actually there. That shift alone saved me hours. If this kind of thinking feels like a relief to you, that's a good sign you're already moving in the right direction. If you want to keep exploring these ideas together, I'd love for you to subscribe. I share new videos here regularly, and there's always something worth trying. Tip 3, I stopped letting dishes wait and made the kitchen the first place I protected each day. The kitchen is the heart of a home, and it's also where disorder spreads the fastest. For years, my habit was to leave dishes until after dinner, sometimes until the next morning. And every time I walked into the kitchen with a pile waiting in the sink, it set a tone for the whole space. Even if everything else was tidy, those dishes made the kitchen feel unmanaged. The change was small but transformative, rinsing dishes right after use, before the food has any chance to dry. Not washing them completely, just rinsing. It takes about 15 seconds per dish. And it means that when I'm ready to properly wash up, there's almost nothing left to do. The bigger shift was deciding that the kitchen would be the one room that ended each night in order. Counter clear, sink empty, dish towel folded. It takes maybe 5 minutes before bed. But waking up to a clean kitchen changes the morning in ways that are hard to fully explain. The day begins differently when the first room you enter is already calm. Tip 4, I stopped trying to tidy everything at once and learned to tidy in layers. There was a time when I felt that tidying had to be complete or it didn't count. Either the whole house was in order or it wasn't. And if I couldn't do it all, I tended to not start at all. That thinking kept me stuck for a long time. What I replaced it with was the habit of tidying in layers. A first pass might just mean picking up everything off the floor. A second pass might mean clearing the main surfaces. A third might mean attending to the smaller details. Not all in one go, sometimes spread across the morning or across the day. What this approach does is break the paralysis that comes from feeling like cleaning is an all-or-nothing task. You can always do something, and something done consistently is always better than nothing done perfectly. The home doesn't need to be immaculate, it just needs to feel manageable. And manageable is something you can always return to, no matter where you're starting from. Tip 5. I stopped letting laundry pile up and made folding something quiet and easy. Laundry was always the task I dreaded most, and I think it was because I let it become enormous before I addressed it. The basket would fill up, then overflow, and by the time I sorted and washed and dried, I had a mountain of clean clothes that sat unfolded for days. That pile of clean laundry was somehow more defeating than dirty laundry. What changed was simply doing smaller loads more often. 1 load every other day instead of 4 loads on a Sunday. Folding while the laundry is still warm, right out of the dryer, before it has a chance to wrinkle or pile up, and finding a way to make folding less of a chore, putting on something enjoyable to listen to, doing it near a window with good light, treating it as a quiet moment rather than a task to get through. When laundry stays small, it never becomes a problem. And when folding happens right away, there is never that pile waiting. The closet stays manageable, and getting dressed in the morning is easy. Tip 6. I stopped keeping things I didn't use and made decluttering a quiet, ongoing habit. For a long time, I thought decluttering was a one-time event. A day you set aside, go through everything, and emerge lighter on the other side. And while that kind of reset does help, what I found was that clutter returned just as steadily as it left, because the habits that created it hadn't changed. The shift that made a lasting difference was making releasing things a quiet, ongoing part of life rather than an event. Every few weeks, a drawer. Every month or two, a closet corner. Not a big project, just a small, steady check-in with what's there, asking which things still earn their place, letting go of what doesn't without guilt or ceremony. Things past, their usefulness are not failures. They served what they were meant to serve, and releasing them is simply honest. When decluttering becomes a habit rather than an occasion, the home never reaches the point where it needs a dramatic overhaul. It stays in balance, naturally and gently over time. Tip 7. I stopped cleaning out of stress and started tending the home out of care. This last shift is the one that changed everything underneath all the others. For most of my life, I cleaned reactively, because things had gotten bad enough that I couldn't ignore them anymore, or because someone was coming over, or because the disorder had finally pressed on me hard enough to move me to action. Cleaning from that place always felt like fighting, like a battle I was losing. When I began tending to the home out of genuine care for the space, because I wanted it to feel good, not because it had reached a crisis, the whole experience shifted. The tasks were the same, the time involved was actually less, but the feeling was entirely different. Caring for a home is not the same as cleaning it. Cleaning reacts, caring prevents, and a home that is tended with care, in small and steady ways, almost never needs the kind of exhausting rescue that used to consume my weekends. Small changes help a home breathe better. If you enjoy these simpler solutions and want to learn homemade recipes and habits that truly make daily life easier, I've put together a special material with many practical ideas. The link is in the pinned comment. If it feels right for you, just take a look. If you've spent years feeling behind in your own home, like no matter how much you do, it never quite stays done, I want you to hear this clearly. It's not about doing more. It's about doing differently. The move from reactive cleaning to preventive care is a quiet revolution, and it happens one small habit at a time. You don't need to change everything today. Pick just one thing from what we talked about. Maybe it's rinsing the dishes right after a meal. Maybe it's spending 3 minutes tidying before bed. Maybe it's one small drawer this week. That's enough, more than enough. Because a calmer home isn't built in a day. It's built in moments, accumulated steadily over time, until one day you walk into a room and realize it just feels lighter, and you will know exactly why. What is one cleaning habit you've held on to for years that you're finally ready to let go of?